Welcome, so glad to have you guys here. If you missed it, I just did a scope like a very few minutes ago about a spring cleaning challenge. So if you want to spring clean right along with me, you can check out that replay after we get done with this. But right now, I wanted to share something, some entrepreneur advice with you guys. If you don't know who I am, I'm Laura. I blog at iHeartPlanners, where I've been for a little over 3 years, and that's now our family's full-time income. And I just like to share on these scopes. I love to share advice for you all, whether you are like a brand new beginner. Hey, from Indiana, I'm actually, yeah, that is saying, I'm actually originally from Indiana. So great to meet someone else from Indiana. So I just like to share like tips and advice and things I've learned along the way, because I know it can be lonely and hard, and at least when I started, and I think probably most people are this way, I had no idea what I was doing. So I appreciated any advice I could get. So I just love to share that with you guys, whether you're brand new in your entrepreneurial journey or you've been at it a little while. I love to share what I have learned. So this is going to be one of those. If you have something you want me to talk about, just send an email, iHeartPlanners@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you. I definitely take, like when people pop in and ask questions, when people ask me questions in my email, I often use that as the basis of something to scope about, because I know that's something that you want to hear about. And like I said, I just love sharing. Hello, Reset Girl. So glad to have you here. She's amazing. You guys should check her out. She has like amazing planner stickers if you're into planners, which obviously I heart planners. I like planners. Yeah, anyway, so I'm really glad to have you guys here. So I'm going to delve in. So last year, okay, so my business has everything to do with planners and organizing. So it is no surprise that January is a huge month for us. So I want to put that out there, that January has always been our biggest month. But last month, I did I always do a little in a month financial analysis last week, and we did 4.5 times the revenue that we did last January. So we managed to grow tremendously. And I had set some goals for us for January, and I thought they were ambitious, but we actually blew those out of the water. So I want to share with you how I did it, because I think there's some things that people often overlook about how you can really take your business to the next level. So I want to share that. And if you want actual numbers, I'm going to actually be like pulling back the curtain and like sharing everything in a webinar next month in March. So go to iHeartPlanners.com/entrepreneur and sign up for my email list there, and you will be sure that you'll be notified about it, and you won't miss it if you want to like take a deep dive into like all our little secrets and our actual numbers. But right now I'm just going to leave it at that, and I'm going to tell you how we did it. So first of all, hey, thanks. Hey, thanks. So glad to have you guys here. So first of all, I want to say that the way that we actually did that last month is we made some really hard decisions last year. When it came to growing the business, we made some tough decisions, and we made some decisions that I was like, oh, should we really do that? Should I really invest in that? Oh, was that a good move? Yeah, it is hard to make those decisions, but I had a long-term mindset, and I think that is so, so important. So all along in the business, I've tried to not think what is going to bring me the most revenue tomorrow or the most success or whatever it is tomorrow. I've tried to think, what am I going to wish I had done a year from now? What is going to set the business up for success in 6 months or a year, instead of that short-term thinking? And that really pays off. So what we did last month, we had a great month. That was really a result of all of the hard work and all of the decisions that we made the whole past year. So I really want to emphasize that to you, especially if you're new or you feel like things are moving slow. What you need to do is make a decision today or work hard today in a way that's going to help pay off in 6 months or a year, instead of like getting bogged down in the day-to-day. Because last February, like, I don't know, we had a great January, and then that February things weren't going so well, but instead of just scrambling around and being like, okay, we got to bring in more money right now, I tried to think, what am I going to wish I had done a year from now? And things take time, like building your email list, building your following, creating relationships, even learning, getting better at what you do, like getting better at the things that you make and create and produce. That takes time. So you really want to focus on what is going to help you in the future. And I do sell products, very few physical tangible products. I'm going to talk about that in a second, but I sell the Sweet Life Planner Club, which is like a monthly subscription. You get access to all the printables I've ever created, which is like a ton. And then I sell the Sweet Life Planner, which is a printable planner, and a few other things. Actually, tomorrow I'm going to open up registration for my How to Create Your Own Printables webinar, which I sell for $25. So I sell various products. Yes, investing is so hard and scary, and I do not recommend. This is where it gets hard. Like, I would definitely not recommend that you go out and like start investing in anything that catches your eye. Like, oh, this course costs $2,000, let's buy it. That's not wise. But at the same time, oh, thanks. I love creating printables. If you hop by my blog, I think you'll notice like one of my favorite things to do. But like I was saying, you shouldn't just go wildly investing in everything, but you should make some careful, thought out, strategic investments. And I will tell you, sometimes you're going to make a good decision and sometimes you're going to make a bad decision. I have invested in some things, both my time and my money, in some things that didn't go so well. I was like, that was a total waste. You know, I maybe bought a course that I thought was going to help me. Total waste, didn't help me at all. Different things like that. So, yeah, I just want to say that you will make some mistakes, but don't be discouraged. Learn from those and you'll get better each time. Now that I bought that course, I can see where I should have, known that that wasn't a wise investment. And I tried something, it didn't work. So don't be afraid to keep trying and try to make careful, wise investments. Bring other people in when you can. So I'm going to tell you five specific things, decisions we made last year that really paid off for us. So number one thing that we did is I believe it was last June, my husband quit one of his part-time jobs and came on board with the business. That was a big, scary decision. And he'd had this job for over 10 years, and it had supported our family for many, many years. And so quitting that is a big, hard, scary decision. But if he had not done that, there is no way we would have been in a position to do everything that we have done this year so far. So it was essential, and it was hard for us. Now, I know you're probably not all in the same exact position where you need to decide whether, your husband should quit his job or not. But I just wanted to say, that helped us tremendously. And I'm so glad he made that decision. He works about 20 hours a week on the business, and he's been able to take things just completely off my plate, which has freed me up as the creator of the product to focus on that rather than like little things. And it's helped our family. It's been such a great decision for us. So that really paid off, but it didn't pay off, and I knew it wouldn't. Like the day he came on board, and started, it didn't pay off right away. Like he had to learn a few things. But it did pay off long term. The second thing that we did, and this was another really hard decision that I should have made sooner, and it was hard, I completely stopped offering some very lucrative product lines. So I had an Etsy shop for years, and for a while it was a huge part of our revenue. It is now 5 or 10% of our revenue, very small portion of our revenue, but I had a lot of products in there that I loved. Like I had these tiny Spice Jar labels. They were kind of part of what put me on the Etsy map because no one else was making them. I don't know if they are now or not, but no one else was making something like this. I loved the product. It was fun. But it took a lot of time to create each one of those. And I was wise, I had a pretty good profit margin. I made sure we were paying ourselves for our labor, but it was holding us back because we had to keep worrying about getting those orders out the door. And it's not very scalable, and I thought about hiring people to make them, but hiring people to come into your home, or we just work from home. I didn't want to get a warehouse or anywhere else. It just wasn't feasible, so I had to cut those. And those brought in, that cost probably a couple $1,000s a month initially, and so it seems silly and difficult to A, cut something that's bringing you a couple $1,000s in revenue and probably $1,500 a month in profit, and B, it kind of hurt because I loved those and I wanted to make those, but it was just holding us back from creating the products that our customers were asking for and that we wanted to make that were more scalable. So we've seen that pay off so huge now because we don't have any of that extra time. It freed us up to spend our time on creating the things that people really wanted and that were scalable. So that helped us a ton. The other thing I did last year initial scary investment is I hired. Hiring is scary because it's difficult. You don't know what you're going to get. I've had some hires that didn't work out super well. We got through it. It was no big deal. But I hired a couple people that have worked out so well. And in the beginning, you know, it takes some time to train them. There may be some mistakes along the way. It, you know, is an initial investment usually before you see a payoff, but it definitely freed us up in a big way to focus on the things that I could focus on, the things that only I could do. Like, only I create. I'm the only one who creates the content for the blog. I'm the only one who creates the design for the printables. And it freed me up to worry about those things and not worry about the things that I didn't need to do. So I'm not in there worrying about how to upload a video or format a blog post or, you know, changing all the dates on my planners. Like, you have to actually type every single date in, by the way, when you use InDesign. So I'm not in there doing that. Someone else is doing that, and it frees me up so much to focus on all of my customers and what they want. The other thing I did, we took a pretty good break to give ourselves some breathing room and get ourselves organized. So in September, we launched the Sweet Life Planner Club. That was a crazy amount of work. I'm telling you, oh my goodness. If you ever launch a membership site, just know there is serious work involved in that. So we worked super hard in August and September to get that out the door. There were some stressful moments where some things weren't coming together at the last minute. Fortunately, it's all worked out. It's good now. So we worked really hard. And instead of like jumping in October and being like, okay, let's, you know, release this next product that people are asking for, I said, we need to take a step back. We need to give ourselves some breathing room so we don't get burnout. And we need to get more organized in the business because I had been, you know, a year before that, I had been doing everything all myself. And I wasn't set up to hire people and to have these processes in place that would help us make sure that we were error-free and things like that. So I took some time where I just kind of put the business in maintenance mode, put out our, you know, weekly posts and things like that, added new stuff to the club, but I didn't try to come up with a lot of new things. I focused on getting us organized, and that paid off so much this January, because by the time January came and we knew everything was going to be really busy, we had a lot of systems, we had a lot of processes in place that took care of things for us. And I scoped about this, pretty sure it was yesterday, about how I use Asana. It might have been the day before, I'm not sure, but very recently about how I use Asana to keep us all organized and give you an inside look. And I'm going to be doing a detailed post on that on my blog with a screencast where you can really see it, showing you kind of the basics of how I use it and how I use that to keep us organized. But it's been tremendous to keep us and our whole team organized. So that was another thing I did, and I would highly encourage you to do that. Don't be afraid to take a little break. And we weren't bringing in huge revenue, especially the last quarter, which is usually big, but we'd taken on our physical product and it wasn't creating anything new. But that was okay because it set us up for much better success this year. And the last thing I did that was a little scary is I invested a lot of money in some training that was super helpful to me. I will say I bought some courses that weren't super helpful, but I bought some that really were like game changing for me. I mean, I hired a coach and worked with her for a little while. I invested in a $2,000, or maybe it was $1,800 training at the beginning of last year that I learned a lot from that I was able to implement this year. And I learned it, you know, a year ago, but it takes a while to get to the point where you can put it into practice. And I've gotten better over the years. I used to like have shiny object syndrome whenever I would encounter any training that says, this is going to help your business, you're going to learn this. I'd be like, I need that now. You know, fortunately I was limited then by funds, so I couldn't go buy them all. But you can't actually, you don't even have the time to implement and read all of these trainings. Oh, yes. Okay. So I'm glad somebody else understands. Oh my goodness. I have this, you know, the shiny object syndrome, and I'm like, and okay, first of all, the other thing I want to point out is when you are looking at business training type things, these people are really good at selling because that's their job and that's what they want to teach you how to do. So when you read their amazing pages, you're like, oh, I need to know the secret to how to, you know, quadruple my blog traffic in 3 months. Well, by the way, there is no secret to doing that. But it makes you feel like you need it, and you just don't have the time to invest in every different strategy. And everyone has a different approach. So you have to pick a few strategies and pick a few things that you need to work on. So what I did this year that I really, really tried to do, I wasn't like 100% perfect, but what I really tried to do was limit myself to either one-on-one training, which I'd never invested in, rather than like a group course, because I need some one-on-one input and advice. So I was willing to invest in that, and also specific areas, not like here's how to build your own whole business course or whatever. I've got a lot of things, established already, but I took more trainings that were really specific on how to do something that I specifically needed. Like I wanted to work on Instagram, so I took a couple trainings on that. So some things like that are more what I focused on than anything, and some that were just different, because I was hanging and hearing the same advice, but there was one that like really struck me as, this person is telling me something different, and I want to hear that. How did I find my coach? Ooh, how did I find her? I can tell you who she is, Kyla Roma, KylaRoma.com. It was a really good experience, so if you want to check her out. But I just found her on Pinterest a long time ago. She'd been a blog designer for a while, and she's kind of transitioned over to coaching. So I just followed her blog for a long time. And she put up a post on there, something about planner camp. Okay, I don't know if I've heard of that. Totally gonna check that out. She put up a post on there, and what I did actually is I called. Oh, she created it. Yes, she did. I remember now. She has some sort of, I think she still offers it. I'm not 100% sure. She offers, like, she tells you how to create your own planner in InDesign, I think. So that's a really cool product, and that might be how I ran across her. So I'm not sure if she still has that. But definitely, check it out if you're interested. So anyway, I interviewed 4 or 5 different coaches. Most of them, when you run across them, they'll do a free 20-minute session. So I talked to 4 or 5 and went with the one that resonated with me the most. I may hire a different one this year just to get a breadth of experiences and advice and input. But that's kind of what I did. So I just wanted to share those 5 things. Kyla Roma, KYLAROMA.com. So you can go check her out if you want to. Those are just the 5 things that I specifically, did to help my business. And to do some long-term thinking. So I hope that helps some of you guys. And again, if you have any thoughts, feedback or anything that you want to hear more about, or just something you wish I covered, be sure to email iheartplanners@gmail.com. I love to hear from you. I promise I read every single email that you guys send me asking, business advice. I don't always have a chance to respond right away, but I do read them, and I do take them into account, and I love to get ideas for things that you guys want to hear. And if you want to sign up for my newsletter so you don't miss any information, it's iheartplanners.com/entrepreneur. Hey, thanks so much for signing up, Corey. So glad to have you. So hope you guys have a great day.